This afternoon, President Trump mentioned you, and he made an allegation about your investments. I want to roll that clip and then give you a chance to respond.
Yeah. Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
Yeah, but I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
Clinton Jaws. It's 300 degrees in this motorhome because I just shut off the air conditioning because it blows too loud. And I got to do a video. We're going to a music festival tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Camping. Going to make some videos. Michael Jackson was talking to Jake Tapper today. And have you seen this? Jake asks her the most awkward question. I'm like, dude, you're going there? Yes. Go there. Thank you. And I call her Michael Jackson because the funniest thing I've ever seen, well, okay, it's in my top 10. Tucker Carlson. Remember this?
So yesterday was Sunday. You may have found yourself on the couch, idly flipping around the TV dial. And if you flipped far enough, you could have had the shock of your life. Michael Jackson was on Face the Nation.
I remember watching this.
Now, to be clear, this wasn't video of Michael Jackson performing his hit songs in the 1990s. This appeared to be a living version of the international pop star that news reports claim died of a drug OD more than a dozen years ago. And yet, despite those claims, there he was, fully, undeniably Michael Jackson talking on television. How can that be? Honestly, we have no idea. We're not theologians here. This is merely a news program. We can only show you what we saw. Here it is.
There's nothing more important for us to do than protect our Constitution and our democracy. What the Republicans are doing across the country is really a legislative continuation of what they did on January 6th.
See? Michael Jackson. That was him. No Billie Jean. Apparently he's given up singing. Now he's telling lies about politics. Same man. If you've ever seen Michael Jackson, you cannot forget the face. Though admittedly, he's had a lot of work done since we saw him last.
Oh, I love that. And you should too. I'm going to show you what Trump had to say about Nancy Pelosi. Then I'm going to show you what Nancy Pelosi had to say about it. It's priceless. You remember all the insider trading that Nancy was doing? It was so obvious. Even Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard were talking about it.
I'm sure you're aware of the Nancy Pelosi stuff.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
It is. And look, I think this is one of the good things about social media is, of course, the mainstream corporate media is hardly covering it at all. But because of social media, things like that are spreading like wildfire, like, hey, Paul Pelosi is doing these trades within this period of time of Nancy Pelosi voting on this bill or bringing a bill to the floor, because we've got to remember, Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, nothing happens without her knowing about it or giving her stamp of approval. Once again, she's refusing to bring the bill to the floor for a vote, saying, oh, well, we're not going to bring it to the floor if it doesn't have support. Put people on the frickin' spot. Make them cast that vote.
That is the last thing she wants.
Right before the election.
Lose that honey pot. How much money have you made?
Yeah.
Like, why are you worth $200 million? That's crazy. You make $200,000 a year. You're worth $200 million. Like, what's going on? And you look at, like, Paul Pelosi's stock, like, what his record is. He's better than Warren Buffett and George Soros, who are like wizards.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys are the best. He's better than them.
And then Trump said this today.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hawley introduced legislation that would ban members of Congress from owning or trading individual stocks. It extends to the president and the vice president. Are you in favor of that legislation?
Well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. And, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened. So I'll take a look at it. But conceptually, I like it. And what I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few. How did that happen? It happened by she knows exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be announced. She buys stock, and then the stock goes up after the announcement's made. And she ought to be investigated.
She is out of it. Let's go. Let's go. I am sweating.
Pelosi, Democrat of California. Good to see you, Speaker Pelosi. Let's start with redistricting, because Texas Republicans earlier today unveiled their highly anticipated map of how they would redraw districts in their state to basically flip 5 Democratic House seats, make them Republican. Under this map, for example, Democratic Congressman Greg Cesar's seat is completely eliminated. Congressman Henry Cuellar, Congressman Vicente Gonzalez's districts will be made more Trump-leaning. Now, Democratic governors, as I don't need to tell you, in places such as California, are vowing to fight this tit for tat.
They have to resort to this kind of gimmickry in order to try to hold the House. But we will hold the House, and we will participate in California if Texas decides to go forward.
Your governor, Gavin Newsom, said that the 2026 election is being rigged by the Republicans. Is that how you see it?
Rigged? Sounds familiar.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's who they are. But again, so much is at stake in this election. We fully intend to take back the House. We only need about 3 seats. I want 30, of course. And they know that. That's why they have to go into this rigging process.
They're taking back the House, guys. Remember my video? This did not age well.
He will never be president of the United States.
Good call.
He's not going to be president. He is not.
I knew it.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
All right, all right.
Donald Trump will not become president.
Doesn't stand a chance.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
Are you retarded?
Sorry to laugh.
He's not going to be president of the United States. Donald Trump is the here today, gone tomorrow candidate for president of the United States. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Commission, now with the caveat that the commission would in the next redistricting go back to drawing the lines.
This afternoon, President Trump mentioned you, and he made an allegation about your investments. I want to roll that clip and then give you a chance to respond.
Too bad the clip didn't work. I showed you the clip. This is what happens. How do they not get their it together? It's just
seem to be having some sort of
investments.
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about.
This here is the best part. I don't like being manipulated. That's why there's only one platform that informs me, and that's Ground News. Ground News is an app and a website that pulls together news from over 50,000 sources around the world. For every story, it shows you political bias, factual reliability, and even who owns the outlet reporting it. It's everything the corporate press doesn't want you to see. Take this recent story. Trump is basically suing everyone involved for $10 billion, claiming defamation over reports about an alleged letter he wrote to Jeffrey. The story has been covered by more than 600 news sources. When you compare headlines for yourself, you can see the major split in how outlets are covering the story. This left-leaning publication, using phrases like counterattacks, and asserts that Trump is seeking to extinguish the Epstein fire. And on the right, this publication calls out Rupert Murdoch in the Wall Street Journal by name and calls the bombshell report a hit piece. As usual, 2 different realities dependent on where you get your news. And the blind spot feature, that's my favorite part. It shows you the stories your side doesn't even mention. The stuff they'd rather you never see. If you actually care about the full picture, check out Ground News. Use my link, ground.news/jaws, or scan the QR code that you see on the screen and receive 40% off the Vantage plan. That gives you full access to all the features I just showed you, and it helps support my channel. That's ground.news/jaws. The link is in the description.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the
how do you make $200 million off the stock market?
confidence it instills in the American people. Don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything
it gets
insider.
weirder.
But the president has his own exposure, so he's always projecting. He's always projecting. And let's not give him any more time on that, please. We're going forward here, and I'm very proud of my family. And while he might make fun of us, while somebody inspired by him breaks into our home and hits my husband in a deadly fashion, hits my husband over the head, and he thinks that's a riot, I'd rather not go into some of my other complaints about him right now. Rather to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid and Medicare. What a triumph, a great pillar of economic and health security. Held districts for them to call
what are you talking about?
Constituents to call their
he doesn't even know.
Their Republican members of Congress who have voted for this shameful, dirty, filthy, stinking, lousy, rotten, anything but beautiful act. And now we are engaged in the Save Medicaid summer. So today is the 60th anniversary. It's something to be very, very proud of. And instead of what the Republicans are doing to deprive people of access to health care who need it so badly, people with disabilities who need it so badly, for the children.
Let me ask you,
who need it so badly.
Polling over the weekend from the Wall Street Journal showed a Democratic approval rating for the party as a whole at an all-time low, with only 33% of voters having a favorable impression of the party. Do you think the changes to Medicaid that are going to be made because of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, do you think that is going to help Democrats significantly in the midterms next year?
Well, I think we were always going to win. As I said, we only need 3 seats, and Hakeem Jeffries, we're very proud of him, will be the Speaker of the House.
Is an idiot.
But again, certainly the vote that these people took to throw people off of Medicare, to close rural hospitals to the hundreds, and in terms of the hundreds, in terms of hospitals and rural clinics and the rest, and to what it does for our veterans who, when it comes to their well-being, and people are telling their stories. And last
I'm realizing this is a bag of dicks.
We won what they are doing to the American people by voting to cut. Now, our summer is about cancel the cuts. Cancel the Trump Medicaid cuts.
So
strong slogan.
We just got some news a couple hours ago from your home state of California. We're learning that your former senator and vice president, Kamala Harris, is not going to run for governor in California. This obviously opens the door for her to run for president again in 2028. Is that something you'd like to see?
Would you like to see her run for president?
Well, I'm sure that I support any decision that she made in terms of running for governor in California. And now we're off to a gubernatorial race where we have many great candidates. One in particular, Lenny Sakopoulos, whom I support. But unless if Kamala was not running, whatever she decides to do in the future, that election's 3 years off. I'm focused on this one right now, and then the gubernatorial, the governor's race now, as well as the first and foremost for me, winning the House to save our democracy and to save health care for our children and for the American people.
Yeah. Democratic Congressman Jerry Nadler from New York is now facing a Democratic primary challenger in his race in the midterms. 26-year-old Liam Elkind says he's running against Nadler because he no longer thinks Nadler has the energy or the mindset to respond to the threat posed by Donald Trump. What's your response? Are you going to back Nadler?
No, she's going forward.
Well, has Nadler decided that he's going to run? If he does, of course, I will support him. I've always supported the incumbents. And again, that isn't without any encouragement for other people to express their own enthusiasm about the future. But let me say that I have had my disappointments in New York elections in the past. Let's hope that whatever happens there ends up on the very plus side of Democrats taking back the House. I've never not had an opponent. I've never not had an opponent. I don't remember anybody endorsing me from the Congress, but I've never not had an opponent. That's politics.
All right, Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Cancel the Medicare cuts.
Good one, Michael. Cancel the Medicare cuts. Sounds a little long. Why not just axe the cuts? Ugh. Oh, my God. Oh, look at that face. Looks like she's sucking on a nip. Because that's what I look like when I'm doing that sort of thing. Cancel the Medicare cuts. Get a shirt, Nancy. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Sopping wet. I'm moist all over. You know what I don't even know why I'm still talking because this video is way too long. You know what the woman said to me yesterday? I asked her. This is so odd. I asked her, do you know where the nail clippers are? You ever have people ask you questions? And you're like, you don't even want to spend the time to answer it. You can't believe you're actually answering it. So when I ask her this, she goes, what do you need them for? And I'm like, I want to cut my fingernails. And then she says, why do they keep on growing? What? Why do they keep on growing? What do you say to that? I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and ask her why she's brushing her teeth. I brush my teeth. Why do you always have dirty teeth? Stupid. I know, stupid, but I was just like, I got to spend time answering your question on why I got to cut, why my fingernails are growing. Insane. She's great, though. She's great. I got to say that because she watches the videos. And guys, have a great weekend. Stay with me. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.